If you'd like to see more of our videos, hit the subscribe button to stay on top of the market news. Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMtrading. Today's October 22nd, 2020, and today is Thursday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, sure enough, the British pound explodes to the upside. After yesterday, we mentioned that it had that symmetric triangle and looked like it was going to break out. Now, looking at the economic events of the day, just one event coming out of Germany this morning at 9 a.m., and that's a Germany consumer confidence number coming out. Looking at the markets, however, we're watching the South African rand just slowly penetrate through support, but not with enough gusto, and we're watching that very closely. Now, looking at the indices, the NASDAQ and the Dow Jones both sell off as the market recoils before the elections. And looking at commodities, gold still trending higher, but having a hard time at 1930 and to sustain itself, oil drifting, while Apple stock continues to sell off. Okay, it's a nice little downtrend. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies. Now, we haven't covered cryptocurrencies in quite a while, but the Bitcoin looking to break out, is it back in play? And that's what we're going to discuss today. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So taking a look here at the Gbp Usd, this is really the one to look at, and you can see we broke above this yesterday. Okay, now this all happened within the day, so really after we broke around this area, we just took it higher and continued taking it higher. That's over close to 200 pips, 150 pips on the upside. Now, to see where we can go higher here, got to look at a longer time frame to see what the next real resistance-ish level. Now, we do have a minor resistance-ish level at this 3162-ish level, but the next real resistance is 3248, and that could lift other currencies versus the dollar as well. Now, when we look at the rand this morning, look at that, finally penetrating that 1641. I've been mentioning this for a long time. This downward wedge formation looks like it's a descending wedge formation. It looks like it's going to penetrate this support, but it's got to do it with some gusto. So got to follow through and see if it does continue to penetrate that later today. Now, looking at gold, all right, this is what I'm talking about. It broke higher yesterday, 1927. Well, I haven't hit that since the beginning of October, but didn't sustain it, okay, which I don't like this. It's really choppy kind of trading. It's going and stopping, going and retreating, but it's still an upwards trend, so it hasn't really descended from that. However, looking at the Dow Jones, look at this nice breakdown, finally breaking down from this 28,362-ish level. We did bounce off of this level of 28,000, but finally penetrating it, and we're trading right now at 28,000, okay? As the market recoils right before the elections, okay, a lot of indecision right there as what happens to the future of the United States when it comes to the next government. Now, looking at the NASDAQ, also retreating, but not as quickly as the Dow Jones. Now, I'm watching this very carefully because on the downside, you can see that we have most of our high volume is happening on red days, okay? Which means that this is more of a divergence than we expected it to be. And in fact, we're going to be discussing later today some really simple trading techniques that you could use in our webinar this evening. So we'll try to leave a link underneath so you guys can register for the webinar where you could really capitalize on really some simple moves. Now, looking at Apple, you can see that we're just continuously selling off here. Since the beginning of the week, we rallied to 123, but couldn't sustain it, and sure enough, we are selling off. Facebook, pretty much selling on the, not really selling, just trading sideways, really. Microsoft, same story, and some of the other ones as well. Netflix, though, gap down and go, which showing some tremendous weakness here. So this may be a point where the market's actually turn that trend, okay, but we're looking to see if this continues selling off. Next real support level 464. Now, jumping to Bitcoin, all right, this is really going to be a major thing. Look at that nice breakout, 12,778. Unbelievable. Okay, it's the first time it's done it. It's on a weekly chart. All right, obviously this is really an important event as this does look to break things on the upside, okay, and really get back into play. Now, the other thing is you got to see if it's going to sustain itself. It's got to have some sustainability. Even if it has this spike, it's got to continue going higher. Now, lastly, I'm going to mention this. Amazon coming out with earning reports today. Okay, now Amazon was the behemoth that took the NASDAQ to all-time record highs in midst of a pandemic back in August. Okay, we went to $3,500 a share, close to it, a little bit more than that. So we've been trading sideways since then. Okay, if we look at that, that was the height of it. But altogether, we got to really key in to see how the consumer are spending. Okay, and Amazon's going to be that the real gauge of what the consumer confidence is and how much people are spending. Remember, this quarter did contain Prime Day for Amazon users, so that's a big boost for their consumer spending. So look at that number very carefully. That'll key us in to next week's big numbers when Apple comes out with earnings and the other ones. As I spoke to you guys on the NASDAQ on Facebook, when we went over these dates, okay, of all the things that are coming out. So be aware that they're coming out. Tremendous opportunities to take part in, and just, make sure that you're taking some stop losses that are short so that you don't get hurt. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.